following the program yesterday, we saw this video and heard the reports. And in fact, throughout the night in New York, as well as in Oakland, obviously in San Francisco and in Boston, people were marching in solidarity with Occupy Oakland. And a consistent refrain kept coming up was reference to what happened to Scott Olsen, who is a Marine, a 24-year-old Marine who served two tours of duty in Iraq. And we're going to play this video. The audio is not terribly explanatory, but it's a little bit narrated. And what happens is there's a bunch of protesters. And remember from our interview yesterday, the tear gas showed up before the cops even tried to arrest anybody. They gave a 5-minute warning, and instead of coming in and arresting protesters who were waiting to be arrested, this was not a situation where the cops came in and the protesters fought back and then things got out of control and they had to lob tear gas. According to this 42-year-old woman who has, who's an MS sufferer, who called into our program last night, went down there with her medication. I don't think she would decide to actively fight the police. So she sat in the middle with these people in solidarity, waiting for the police to come in and simply arresting them. That's the way it's been working in most of these cities, right? That's the way it worked in Washington Square Park. That's the way it works. And instead, what the police did is their first response was to throw tear gas. In the aftermath, when protesters had taken to the streets, tear gas was lobbed in. It hit this Marine veteran, 2 tours of duty in Iraq, and knocked him in the head. He seemed to be semi-conscious. About 15 or so, and you'll hear it in the video, 15 or so other protesters ran to help this guy who was clearly knocked out on the ground. And the protesters themselves were probably about 20 feet at the closest to the police who were behind steel barricades. And as you'll hear in the video, one of the police takes a canister of tear gas and throws it into that crowd of 15 people who are clearly there to help the guy who is on the ground bleeding and unconscious. Let's play this video.
I think everyone should see a few moments from the police crackdown of the Occupy Oakland demonstration. The police say that they cleared the demonstrators using non-lethal force, but a tear gas canister can be lethal if it hits you in the face. It's hard to see from this video exactly how this demonstrator was wounded, but if you doubt that the police were deliberately aiming at the protesters, watch this policeman when a group of protesters attempt to come to the aid of the injured person. Watch that again.
What happened? What happened?
You got hit.
He got shot. What's your name?
What's your name? Wake up.
What's your name?
What's your name?
Shit.
Did he say
It's, and I'll tell you something, that cop can be identified. It's very clear that a individual cop threw that. And there's cops standing to the left and right of him. And they're all in riot gear, but there's no doubt. This is what the police do. We see them every day with video cameras in the city, filming protesters. They can figure out who that cop is. And that cop should be brought up on charges for attempted murder.
if you watch, Scott Olsen is on the floor, like there's no one in front of him. He's in full view of the riot. Riot cops.
It is absolutely, undoubtedly clear. There couldn't have been, and particularly, and we're watching it from a different angle, from the police angle. What was going on couldn't have been more clear, less ambiguous. That cop should be brought up on charges because he lobbed an explosive device into a crowd of 12, 15 people who were clearly trying to help someone who was unconscious and bleeding on the ground. It's just unbelievable. That guy is a danger to society. And we will post the video. We have it on majority.fm, and we'll put it into YouTube because people need to see that. And that's really what created a lot of what happened last night. And go to occupymarines.org or occupynavy.org and see how angry and just the emotional responses from vets. It's... I think when you're in a situation like you're in a war zone with people, you develop a different type of relationship to them. And to see something like this, I think it's really amazing.